Thanks for listening to the LCR Media Podcast, where we get to know the pros. I'm your host, LCR Naylor Taliaferro, and on today's Hype House 2022 Green Industry Hype House episode, we are here joined at poolside with the lovely Jeremiah and Savannah. How are you guys?
We're good. Good to be here.
All right. Great. I'm excited to be here. I had a great night. Just got back from donuts, so got a full tummy.
Yeah.
About to get in the hot tub here in a minute. It's been a great night.
Yeah, it's been a long day.
Very long day. My eyes are starting to...
Lots of great content, lots of good opportunities. So why don't you guys introduce yourselves and tell a little bit about your backstory to the listeners who haven't heard anything from Savannah for the first time. I know I had Jeremiah on a while back, but let's go ahead and get everyone caught up to speed.
Yeah. You want to kind of tell a little bit about us?
Yeah, we'll walk through it here. So, Jeremiah Jennings, Growing Green Landscapes, based out of Birmingham, Alabama. We have a lawn maintenance company that we are going into season 4 full time. It has been a really fun ride getting to this point. It hasn't always been easy, but it has been
worth it.
Worth it, and it's got a big future ahead. I'm excited for where the future is going to go. We have the Growing Green Landscapes podcast. It is a podcast on all major podcast platforms based on, it's just based for entrepreneurs in business and guys wanting to learn how to run a successful business, whether it be lawn maintenance, hardscaping, poop scoopers, selling T-shirts, whatever it is. We just like to talk business principles and be as beneficial and help as many people as we can, putting out valuable content 2 times a week. So that is where you can find us on social media. Inside of the personal lives, we have Savannah here. We've been married for a year and a half here and coming up on 2 years in May. It's just been a fun ride getting here. We've been dating for, I don't even know, 6 years at this point.
Yeah.
And it's just been a really fun ride. Met in high school, dated through high school, and so she's been with me from the beginning of the business, so it's been a really fun journey getting to this point, and I'm excited to be here at the house. Thanks to Entrepreneur Academy and Hardscape Academy for allowing us to come out here and put out all this great content, because without them it would not be possible. So
100%. Yeah. And for those of you that didn't catch my episodes with Jeremiah originally, episode 103 and 104, 2 parts. So you guys can check that out to get his full details of his whole backstory.
Yes.
We went down a whole lot of in-depth, of his whole backstory there. So if you want to go check that out after this episode. But what I want to dive into is you guys are basically newlyweds.
Yeah.
2 years,
kind
huh?
of. Yeah.
So
I guess technically in the grand scheme of life it is, but it feels like we've been married forever. Like I don't really
been together for a while.
I don't really
Yeah.
remember a time when we weren't married though. It's weird. Like it feels like it's been a lot longer than it
Because
has.
you take this huge step. We didn't live together before we were married, so you take this huge step of, we lived no long distance by any means, but 30 minutes to we were together every day. We moved in, living together. So I feel like that in that aspect, our life's completely changed, and now we don't remember life before we're married.
That's awesome. So how did you guys all meet? How was the first met?
So we were actually both homeschooled, and we had an organization that we were able to play sports through. So we met playing sports. We played basketball, and Jeremiah came, I guess I'm a couple years older than him, actually. I'll be 24 this year. He's 22. My junior year, and we truly were just friends. He was friends with my younger brother, and we got to know each other as friends that way, and then actually didn't start dating until my freshman year of college. So just hung out as friends.
I played a younger brother. I used him as an excuse to go over to their house.
He did.
Whatever works, right?
Yeah, it's all right. You got to get your foot in the door somehow.
But yeah, dated all through my college, got engaged one of my last semesters of nursing school, and then got married right out the gate. So we've been together, married since.
Yeah, Savannah has a career in nursing outside of here, so.
Yeah. So I actually wanted you guys both on here to kind of dig into that a little bit more. So you guys had an episode. You might have had more. Forgive me. I just cannot.
No,
They just didn't assume everything.
Yeah.
Oh, well, there you go.
Yeah.
But there was one. She said it was just the one.
You just had me on
I
there
don't even
one time.
remember.
Yeah. Well, I happened to catch that one episode, and I've caught a lot of Jeremiah's episode, but I caught the one with the two of you on there, and I said to Jeremiah earlier, I think maybe yesterday, whenever anyone has, a spouse or significant other on their podcast or on someone's podcast, it just really changes the whole feeling, and there's just a different energy, and it's really powerful because we're entrepreneurs or business owners. That whole category is kind of a lonely place. And a lot of times our spouses or significant others are kind of like on one island and we're on this island all by ourselves trying to run this business, trying to follow this dream or whatever. So whenever I see, people together, couples together, again, whether they're significant others, they're dating or they're married, and they're both supporting each other and they're on podcasts or social media talking about it, I really love that. I love hearing that, because it's a struggle for so many people. And that's a common question so many times on whatever it be, live streams, whatever, just in general, meeting people in person. That's a struggle. Like how to get my wife involved, or she wants to get involved, but I don't know how to get involved, or she doesn't want to get involved, but I want to get involved. Like there's just so many different variables there. So when I see it seemingly, you guys are working together in some respect, I just wanted to get you guys on the show and kind of dig into that a little bit. So how did you he wasn't in were you in lawn care, like doing it like in high school type thing when you met her? And then
I worked in the business that I have now. I worked in the business from the time I turned 16 and was able to drive. So me and a buddy, the guy that owned it, he's my best friend. I mean, worked with him through, and then, so I was doing that while we were dating. And
so she knew.
Yeah. And then he was, I don't know, a year or two ahead of her, I think, in school. And so he was just doing it to pay for his college. When he was ready to be done with college, he was like, here, you can take it. I'm done. So agreed upon a price, and I just decided that was where I wanted to go. I went to a year of college, just a little
business,
a little community college, local, and took some business classes, and it was good, but that was my first year full time.
And you guys were dating at that point?
We're still dating.
Okay.
Dating.
And it was just too much. I couldn't do full-time school and full-time business and grow the business. It was just like sustain what I had, and then do school. Probably the most stressful 8 to 10 months of my life, seriously. And it was just way too much. So I decided to drop school, took on business, and we talked that whole process. I mean, by that point, we pretty much knew we were getting married. We weren't engaged yet, but we knew from that point on. And so we were always open with each other to talk about that. And she was fine with it. We both agreed that it was going to be a journey that we went on together. And it wasn't always going to be fun, but it was
I feel like that was a really big step when, like I said, we were dating when he started doing lawn care, but it was nowhere near his business. Like, he was working with him. So Jeremiah comes to me and is like, hey, I think I want to buy this thing and I want to do this. So I really, really do it. And I was like, okay, and at this point I was like, okay, so we'll get a business degree and then we'll kind of go from there. And then he was like, no, I think I need to go full force at this thing to really get it off the ground. And so I think that was one of our first somewhat difficult conversations for him to say, no, I'm going to drop.
Well, and because her dad is a successful, corporate world guy, CFO of a company, so to him it's like school, she went through school, the whole family's gone through school. I'm the oldest, so I haven't, it was up to me. I decided what I wanted to do. I hadn't had older siblings go through school, or my parents weren't really set on that. My dad he's been a bivocational pastor, for his whole life. So he pastored a church and then also worked another job. My mom has worked in the corporate world some. So it wasn't but in their family, it was you need to go get a job. Me and her dad had that talk. He really expected me to go get a job and go through college, and he didn't really care what I did, but he expected to have a college education. And he didn't really pitch a fit by any means. He was fine with it, but we talked about it. We had some serious conversations about it, and he wanted to make sure that I knew that's what I wanted to do, and I was willing to do what it took to get it off the ground, because he's about to give his oldest daughter away to somebody who's dropping out of college their first year in. Yeah. So that's a big thing that we had to go through there. And it worked out. Constant line of communication. That has been my phrase. This whole hype house, the whole week we've been down here, is constant line of communication with everybody in your life, with her, with her dad, with her family, with my parents. Something that I believe is key if you want to have a successful relationship in any way. If you're involved in anything, no matter what, even if you don't own a business, you have a constant communication between finances and just everything else, schedules. Down to little crap. So. Yeah.
So how did you guys get through that first step?
Well, I was just kind of thinking about this as you were talking. I can't lie and say that it was very nerve-wracking / stressful for me in the beginning, because it was so new and it was so unknown. But you had this fire in your eyes about it, and I knew it was what you're passionate about, what you wanted to do. And I knew that, not to be any type of way, but if I didn't believe that you could do it, then I don't know. Like, I just feel like you needed somebody in your corner being like, you got it. Like, it might not look good at first, but we're going to do whatever it takes.
Because I was the first to do it. And my parents they weren't entrepreneurs. I had no entrepreneur background.
We didn't know anybody that had literally started their business from the ground. So it was and I don't mean this any type of way. It was a little fake it till you make it type deal. We really were just like,
figuring out as you go.
Oh,
yeah, we got our crap together. Not really.
Yeah. So
but you said something important in the beginning of this podcast as Jeremiah was explaining stuff. You said it's worth it.
Yeah.
That's gold right there to have your wife say, to back you up and say, but it's worth it, because you said something like it's been hard, or it was hard, but worth it. That's what it's all about. That 1-2 punch, that team effort, like you said, having someone in your corner. And that's why I wanted to get you guys on this podcast, because we need to keep lifting everyone up, that's listening and in this community that might be struggling, or maybe they don't even have a significant other yet, 100%. But they want to kind of know what could be some goals, what could be waiting for them, that they're if they find the right person and they connect and they're on the same page and they communicate, that you guys can work together.
I think that's a huge, and we talked honestly a little bit about it on Brian's podcast about genuinely the importance of being on the same page and just both having the same goals, because I think that was a little hard too, is we struggled a little bit with communication in the beginning about what his goals were for the company and where he wanted to go with it. And it was a little hard for me to understand when we were, and this is kind of opens into another conversation about like personal finances and stuff like that. It was hard in the beginning, but knowing that you're on the same page with your significant other makes it easier to trust them in making those decisions. But also knowing, like you said, like at the end of the day, you've got somebody in your corner. And if your significant other isn't in your corner, like who is? You know what I'm saying? Like you have to have them at the end of the day believing in you and trusting that the decisions that you're making and what you're doing for the company is for both of your benefit at the end of the day, and going and working towards goals that you both have for each other. So,
that's why I say, even if you're not dating somebody, you need to be open with them about the business from day one. Yeah. Like you need to say, look, this is what if you're going to come on this journey, this is what you're signing up for. And I mean, don't get 2 years in. Don't waste 2 years of your life with somebody and then them be like, look, all right, and then just decide to open up about the business and be like, this is what really happens behind the scenes. This is the kind of money that really goes on. This is in January we have $1,000 in our bank account, and in summer we're at $15,000. But January is different than summer. I mean, in those beginning years, it's just one of those things, and so plan for communication from day one, whether you're dating somebody or not. I mean, it's just big.
And I think there's something a different aspect about when you're in a relationship together kind of early on and you're already in the business to some degree, and whether you're stepping it up to, hey, I want to buy this business and do it myself or whatever, or just start it from scratch or whatever, if you're still already in the business when you meet each other and you know each other, there's kind of already that going on versus being with each other, like myself and a lot of other people in this industry that had one full-time career that they got burned out of, or realized it was wrong for them, or they got fired maybe, and then they're just trying to find a way to make money, and lawn care, landscaping just happened to check that box for them, or maybe they're more passionate about that, like myself or whatever. And then there's that transition, and then they have a significant other, that's like, whoa, what's going on? And it might be a different shell shock, a different communication, a different scenario with that. So you guys are on the other side of that, where you kind of just started right into it versus just like, hey, I used to do this and now I want to do this, and it's a little more like, my wife was terrified. She thought we were going to be homeless, so
y'all ran a harder boat than we were, because when I was buying the business, I lived with my parents. I was single. We weren't engaged, so I was still single. I mean, we were dating, but she had no responsibility. I had no responsibility to keep her alive.
We both lived at home.
Yeah.
So if everything went to crap, everything went to crap. It would have been fine. I would have gone through college and gotten a job and moved on. But you had to make a much bigger step.
Well, we didn't have a mortgage. I almost said mortgage, but at the time we were still renting. But but my wife had a full-time job, fortunately, but she wasn't able to pay for all of our expenses by herself, so she was like freaking out.
You still had responsibility.
And I was like, I'm going to do whatever I can to make it work. And that was a rough first year, but we got through it together. And she didn't tell me she was terrified. She told me after the fact, like when I was like more successful or whatever. But she was just like, like just hoping and like trying to help me any way she could by not saying anything bad was probably the main way to help me.
I know, and I feel like I was a little bit the same way. I probably voiced my opinions, but that's another thing, kind of what I was talking about earlier about faking it till you make it is, express concerns to your significant other, but also like don't do it in such a way all the time to where it's discouraging, because I never wanted him to be like, thinking that I didn't believe that he could do it, or I was way more stressed that he just needed to give up on that and do something a little more stable. I didn't ever want to give him that idea. So I think it was important to just be encouraging.
Yeah.
Even though it's stressful, for sure.
Yeah. Well, let's talk about that real quick. Some of the more stressful points. I know you guys talked about that on your podcast too. Things that I was like, wow, like that's, you guys went through some stuff together, like talking about you guys were crossing that was you guys, right? Like ships, passing in the night or something, because she was doing nursing school and your schedules, and you guys were just grinding it out, trying to make it work. So talk about that a little bit.
Hey, LCR listeners, this is Cody from Lightspeed Social Agency. If you're tired of spinning your wheels every selling season, we want to change things up for you in 2022. We're a full-service digital marketing agency that only works with lawn care and landscape businesses. We specialize in hyper-local, neighborhood-by-neighborhood Facebook ads that generate right away ROI. Go to lightspeedsocialagency.com to schedule a call. Make sure to tell us Naylor sent you, and we'll give you $400 off your initial setup fee. That's lightspeedsocialagency.com.
Toro's new Revolution Series lineup provides you with a smarter, more connected fleet that makes your operation more efficient than ever before. It's the products you already know and love, just supercharged with Toro's HyperCell battery system. Learn all about Toro's new Revolution Series line at revolution.toro.com or click the link tree in the episode description to get you there fast.
You're listening to the LCR Media Podcast.
Well, let's talk about that real quick. Some of the more stressful points. I know you guys talked about that on your podcast too. Things that I was like, wow, like that's, you guys went through some stuff together, like talking about you guys were crossing that was you guys, right? Like ships, passing in the night or something, because she was doing nursing school and your schedules, and you guys were just grinding it out, trying to make it work. So talk about that a little bit. Yeah,
for sure. Well, the first year 100% was both like grinding individually, because I was finishing out nursing school. Jeremiah was really like first year in a transition stage of taking over the business. So we 100% were like, love you, but we got to work hard on our own stuff right now. So that was helpful in a way. And then got married, and I kind of went into nursing, and he was doing his thing. And so it was really tough to kind of navigate two careers, but now we're married. So his business does influence me, and what I'm doing influences his. So it definitely was a learning curve, because I think in the beginning it was easier to kind of have him not include me in the business as much when we weren't married. And then we got married, and I was like, wait, this is our money now that we're married. I want to know what's going on. So I think struggled with that a little bit, with kind of opening up and letting me in as far as
because I did it all by myself up to that point. My parents weren't involved. Like, it was my gig. Yeah,
that's tough for us, especially I think as men in this world. It's still such, people just don't understand or appreciate. And I know everyone has. I mean, gosh, I give all the credit in the world to women for sure. Like I want to be like, all praise to you. But at the same time, guys don't have it like made in the shade either. Like there's a lot of wacky psychological stuff that men have to deal with, and we get trapped in these like mental handcuffs. We can't show our emotion. We got to be tough. Right. We got to make it work, and all this craziness that is crushing. Yeah. And I believe this could be way off, but I believe that might be one of the contributors to why men live a shorter lifespan than women.
Totally see that. Yeah.
The fact that you guys, women, traditionally can wear your emotions on your sleeve, get it all out. It's getting all that stress out of yourself. Mm-hmm. Guys just keep it all in, and we're all tense and crazy. So I can totally relate with Jeremiah. Jeremiah can relate with every other guy that's like, this is my baby, like this is blood, sweat, and tears here. Don't mess with this, So how about, what are some things that you've done over the last couple of years to help contribute, or just to help be supportive?
So I think, I don't know, because we'll be totally honest and say that I don't work in the business very much. Right. I will say I did a little bit more this past summer when we were kind of forced into that with the injury and everything. But
she put some annuals on the ground, and she's like, I did a lot more. I really
planted some flowers.
Literally one day, put some annuals on the ground.
Hey, that's one day.
It was helpful.
I did pine straw too.
There you
Not
go.
giving me as much credit. No,
It was the same day. It was the same day as the annuals.
No, I just, knowing that I'm not involved in the ins and outs of the business day to day, I just try to be as supportive as I can as far as like being patient and understanding like the longer nights in the summer and like the purchases that maybe I don't 100% understand. But just trusting that, you know, this is his company, but also like, I just feel like it really goes back to having being on the same page and having the same goals. And if we can trust each other 100% in that, it's easier for me to like be supportive and understand when he's making those decisions and when he's out later, when he's got to get up earlier and go and stuff like that. So I feel like my role right now is really more supportive and just trying to be there for you the way I can. And he will occasionally like bounce ideas off of me because I feel like I'm more of a third party because I'm not there every day, so I can kind of talk about it because I'm
Different
learning
perspective.
and I'm learning. I don't know like necessarily grass types and machines and stuff like that, but I'm learning, and I try to be able to talk about that stuff with them. So I try.
Awesome. So, wrapping up this episode, I wanted to kind of finish by asking, what are your thoughts and perspective on these events? You've been together in the trades,
Yeah.
and now you're at the Hype House.
Yeah.
What's your perception on all
So
that?
I feel like Together in the Trades was my first event type deal. I loved it. It was so genuinely encouraging for me to see other, not just like men with successful companies, but like wives there too, and seeing that, okay, you know, I can do this, like be a supportive wife of an entrepreneur, because it is a crazy life of entrepreneurship, of ups and downs. And Jeremiah reminds me all the time, like, we're never going to get bored with this. It's always something. But no, I truly, really enjoy like connecting with people and learning, you know, because it's a very specific thing, you know, being married and entrepreneurship, because you really do, I feel like, have to work that much harder in your marriage. So I feel like it was great to meet other people. And then Hype House has been so fun. Just getting to, again, connect with all these people and be on the podcast and truly see Jeremiah network and like thrive in this environment, because this is what he loves. So I think it's been really good, fun, and encouraging for me to see him in this environment. So
That's awesome.
yeah.
Before we move on to the pod decks.
Oh, no. I knew it was coming.
Do you guys have any final words of wisdom or words of advice to anyone just starting out in their business, maybe Jeremiah, as well as couples in the trades?
I'll let you take this one. I feel like I've talked more than you.
Yeah, coming into the trips, and I was like, I'm nervous. I don't know if I want to do these podcasts. This is like our fourth one, and now she's like the host.
There you go.
But I like it. That's a good thing. Maybe she'll come on our show more.
Yeah,
but,
for sure. You'll get a lot of downloads.
exactly. I know. When the women hop on, really adds value to the show. But what was your question? Advice for new couples. I'm sitting here looking at this terrible mulch job.
Yeah, for new couple.
The people that did this mulch at this place, like, it's
it
so
smells
bad.
good, but yeah,
It does smell bad.
Chucked it and stuff all up on
It's so
there.
uneven.
Yeah.
It's like brown mulch. It's all of
Yeah.
it fence, and it's just a mess. But
All right. Yeah.
anyway, back to today's
couples
show.
in the trade.
Couples in the
Just starting out. What?
Starting out, oh man, single or married, or dating or whatever it may be, find somebody that can support you, whether it be a friend or a girlfriend or whatever friend you want, a parent, a mentor. Find somebody to bounce ideas off of, and don't do it all alone, because that was before we like really got serious dating and stuff. Like it was kind of lonely, because, like I said, my parents had they didn't not want me to do it, but they supported me, but they weren't involved. Like, it wasn't something they did. Like,
they don't know what to
it
say.
wasn't theirs. So I was kind of alone in that aspect. And that's kind of a lonely time. It's not, I don't really put a bunch of thought into it. I'm not a very sensitive person when it comes to that stuff. But looking back on it, it could take a toll on you, especially if you do it for a extended period of time. So find a mentor, find a friend, somebody to bounce ideas off of, and sometimes just talk about. Find somebody you can pick up the phone and call and just talk and let somebody listen. I mean, and be that friend to somebody else, though. If maybe you have another friend that's starting, be the friend that somebody can call and you just sit there and listen and don't say one word. And that's a big thing I would say for somebody starting out. Definitely just do everything right from the beginning. You're not going to do everything right, but strive to do everything right. Self-education is just, I'll take that into my grave. Communication is key. Self-education is just something that is. There's no excuse to be dumb anymore. There's no excuse to be dumb in business. Like
there's
there's
so much
not.
information out there.
There's not. I mean, there's the amount of paid stuff that there is crazy, but the amount of free stuff there is crazier.
Is insane. Yeah.
Like the fact that you can go to Entrepreneur Academy and pay for how to get new customers, how to get, like commercial contracts.
Yeah, for a few $100s, they make you thousands.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
You can go buy the whole ball of wax for, I don't know, what is it, $1,500 now, whatever it is now. That will make you 50 to 100,000 in the next 24 months if you go and implement all that stuff the right way.
Right.
And that's paid stuff.
Yeah.
That stuff is paid for. You can go to Hardscape Academy, learn how to build walls and company handbooks. Go search YouTube, though.
Yeah.
Go search free self-education platforms. Listen to this podcast. Listen to Green Industry Podcast. Listen to mine. Listen to Brian's. There's so many others out there that self-education is just, it's just as simple as that. There's no excuse to be dumb in business anymore.
You literally have to be lazy.
Yes.
That's, there's no excuse.
And if you're lazy, then don't get in it.
I know, right? You're in the wrong business if you're lazy.
You're in the wrong industry, buddy. Sorry.
For sure. Yeah. So great final words of wisdom. So should we fill Savannah? She's all panicking over there.
I don't remember what the one you got me was with last time on mine.
You got yourself. It's randomly picked. Here. Let me shuffle them. Make sure they're good.
Oh my goodness!
Right. You've never. Oh, that's right. This is the first live that you've been on.
Yeah.
I get everybody every time with that. They're nice and crispy.
I like
now.
that. Yeah.
Nice shuffling there. That's real life.
I just take
so
card?
You pick a random card and you read the question on it. It's just random life experience.
See, you picked mine
stuff.
for me because we did ours on Zoom last time.
That's right. So now you're doing it in real life.
Yeah.
There you go. Now it's legit. All right. So
see, look, she got one that she doesn't know how to answer.
You go first.
Well, I can't answer this because what's the worst job you ever had? Never had another job besides.
Oh, you need another one.
I know. I got it easy.
Come on. I'm not doing another one. You need another one. Put that one down.
Oh, excuse me. All right. If you had to teach a class on one thing, what would you teach?
There you go.
Oh, man. That's tough. I don't know. Honestly, it would probably be basketball, sports. I'm a pretty big sports fan.
Yeah.
I coach basketball in high school now. I do some reffing. So I would probably coach basketball. I would continue to coach basketball. I mean, I kind of do teach a class. I teach basketball. So
there you go.
I enjoy it.
And then is there an aspect of the youth, too, that you enjoy?
Absolutely. Love getting to
mentoring them
to mentor them, to help grow them into young men. And I had a great coach when I was in high school. He helped me a ton develop into who I am today, both in my faith and just character and sports abilities and everything else that goes along with it. So, it's great getting to give back to the 16, 17, 18-year-olds.
Awesome.
Okay, I don't know.
No pressure, Savannah. It's all good.
It says, which talent would you most like to have?
Oh.
I don't know if this is considered a talent, but I really wish I could bake. I follow recipes to a T. I cannot bake very well.
Well, the boss is sitting over there in the hot tub. She knows how to bake pretty well.
Yeah, I might need to take some lessons.
Miss Brittany Allman is proud of her baking. She said she bakes pretty good.
Yeah.
Well, baking is a talent and a skill that you can be naturally.
That's true.
You can naturally be born and gifted with that kind of talent, and then you develop it through skill, which is just practice, training, all that stuff.
Maybe I could
some people
self-educate.
Some people can't
There's plenty of YouTube channels.
Yeah, but some people can't cook or bake no matter how hard they try because they just weren't born with that natural, or they were born like the opposite. Like, man, I got 2 left feet, I can't think. You know what I mean? Like stuff like that. So yeah, that is a talent. So that's a good one. All right, well, thank you guys for both being on the podcast.
Absolutely.
I'm glad I got you on.
Thanks for having us.
Go ahead to the Growing Green
podcast is what we're going to rebrand to. So it depends on when it's coming out. Growing Green Landscapes is what it is at this moment, live. Growing Green Landscapes podcast. It's going to be rebranded to the Growing Green podcast.
That's cool.
So, I mean, it's going to come up either way. Whatever way you put it in, it's going to come up.
Once you get to Growing Green, it'll pop up.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So
awesome.
Search either one, and it'll come up on all major podcast platforms. Growing Green Landscapes on Instagram. We try to put content out pretty regular there. Trying to grow that side of the social media as well. So it's been a fun journey getting here. I'm going to keep pumping out podcasts twice a week, and it's just it's fun. I enjoy it.
Yeah. Sweet. Well, thanks again to the Launchpreneur Academy and the Hardscape Academy for giving us this opportunity to be at the Hype House and get together and create content and build friendships and strengthen existing friendships and just having a great time.
If you don't go by their courses, you're lazy.
Yeah, that's harsh. But no, I mean, if you're not seeking out free stuff,
Yeah. We'll stick with that.
If you're complaining that there's no resources out there, you're just lazy. You're not even looking. So on that note, guys, thank you all for listening. This is the Lawn Care Rookie signing off.
This has been an LCR Media and Mr. Producer production.